All right, man. Made it to the end of the day. Now it's the nighttime. Nighttime stories for the peeps. All right. Without further ado, y'all tapped in with the Head of the Game podcast. Y'all read the title. Let's get right into it. So, what is dating life in 2026, right? Got so much content. All these dating coaches, all these dating gurus, everybody got game. That's what you would like to believe. You just on the internet, searching through the manosphere, typing all these keywords and people paying money for consultations and so on and so forth, right? And just like with most things, game gonna recognize game. Real gonna recognize real. And from a person that has experience, I do feel like a lot of this content that's out there, a lot of these dating coaches and dating gurus do y'all disservice because they never really touch on the dark side or the bad side or the repercussions or the side effects from interacting and talking to so many women, right? And it's just, you just talk to this one, you talk to that one, and everybody's just smashing everybody. Nobody gets turned down. Everybody's a super alpha male. Nobody don't take no L's. Everybody just sit up there and just walk to the mall, and everybody's a high value man. This is, I feel like the kind of rhetoric or the propaganda that's put out, and just poisoning the minds of just the younger generation, right? Because when we was coming up, and just to put it out there, I'm 34. So back like in the 2010s when I was in the mix, we didn't really have, it was the beginning of it, and I'm pretty sure it was out there, but it wasn't the norm. You feel me? You going online, sitting up there trying to weigh in and weigh out who got game or how you approach women or code approach and so on and so forth. It wasn't a lot of this information being out there, though it was out there, right? Back in my day, now I sound like an old person, but back in my day when we used to get out there, yeah, you had dating apps for sure. You had dating apps, but you had, social events, so on and so forth, and you just interact with females. You feel me? And whatever your city, I feel like the women dictated the market as far as what was cool and what wasn't cool when it came down to like men sitting up there being in social circles. So, for instance, city I grew up in, dancing. If you know how to dance to certain kind of music, you had a chance with getting women's attention, so on and so forth. But that aside, I digress. My main point is that you got all these dating coaches out here, and this is why I feel like the manosphere not only is oversaturated, but there is a lot of misinformation going out there regarding, what is and what isn't, right? And we can get into the nuances of what works for some and what doesn't work for some and play that subjective game, but I just want to speak in generalities on this topic, right? So the bad sides, and I feel like this is not touched on, but I'm explaining to y'all from a personal experience, right? There's a couple of downsides to interacting with so many different kind of women. For one, you do get this Frankenstein complex, right? And what I mean by a Frankenstein complex is like, okay, you want her ass, but her personality and her bank account and her loyalty and her sense of humor and her not nagging. And so in your mind, you build up this superficial, idealistical woman created from all the different variations of women that you've encountered and you never be able to, I don't want to say never, but it makes it hard for you to be able to be satisfied or content with what you have because you always feeling like you leaving some on the table, right? It's and I do feel like women do suffer from this as well, but we're just sticking we're sticking with us right now, right? That's one bad side of interacting with so many women is that you then think that there's somebody out there that just have all the infinity stones that a woman can have in order to make you happy and make you content. Like, all right, I'm good enough. I'm out the game. Whatever the case may be. Secondly, this whole high value man thing, I just feel like, yeah, it definitely gives you a longer shelf life on the dating market, especially if you're an older guy. But it also depends on just that, you feel me? Because if you're a person that looks for a certain kind of woman, you know, you're either looking for a partnership or you're into the whole traditional thing where you're the man that's providing and she's the feminine person. Like that's the archetypes that I feel like that's being promoted into the manosphere, right? High value man don't care about the next woman's money because he got his own everything. He's just looking for beauty. And you know, there's these cliches and things, and it's not a monolith. All guys on a monolith. There are guys that got more money than a lot of people and still care about your money, right? That kind might be how they wired, so on and so forth. But aside from that, you get that Frankenstein complex is one of the bad ones right there, right? Another one is it desensitizes you from sex. So this kind of goes into the first point, but it's an extension of it, which is like you get women that can do a certain kind of things in the bedroom, but then you come across that good girl that may lack those capabilities. You've already had the impression of interacting with certain kind of women. So in the bedroom, you find yourself not being satisfied because you're measuring up her indirectly, whether you realize it or not, to other women that's out there, right? Reason why, probably the biggest reason why I do feel like men cheat. I'm just calling for what it is. We cheat because we're always chasing that high or chasing that interaction with that woman that we knew that's not good for us, but only for one use, and that's it. And that's, to me, I feel like that's stupid, right? It's self-sabotage to sit up there and be like, okay, well, she don't do this, so therefore she's not as valuable as this woman because she's able to do things that I value in this category, but then you undermine the things that are even more important in the bedroom, right? So that's another dark side to it. I'm pretty sure it's some more of them. It's some more of them. Dating multiple kind of women. What's the bad side? What's the dark side to this? I can say that yeah, I mean that's probably quite obvious. You can have multiple baby mamas. Multiple baby mamas, multiple women that you're not with. You feel me? Broken homes. I think that's probably the obvious one. Especially if you're not protected, you know, wearing protection. You feel me? That's a dark side to it. Now, I'm gonna add in a couple pros to this because it's not obviously it's not all bad, right? On the surface level. So it does reinforce your confidence. It definitely gives you, as they say, an abundant mindset because you're pre-select and you've developed skills that are evergreen in the dating market. So therefore, you're able to walk around and have confidence with women just naturally, just because you have the skill set and you do. Okay, I get that, right? I think the main thing and this is the number one thing I want y'all to understand, right? Is that when you become older, you have to understand that the game is not sustainable unless you're playing it in a certain way, right? So if you are an older guy, you feel me, getting of age, you're gonna have to foot the bill a lot more to stay in the game. That's gonna be your selling point. That's why some people, oh, I'm a high value man, and women are always gonna want me because I drive the fast car, and all you are is a status symbol for you to be a provider. Now, some men don't mind providing, but guys like us that we didn't come out the gate paying for stuff, that we had to use alternative skill sets in order to bring a value to a dynamic regarding women. We look at, once we start making money, a lot different, right? Because it's all about optimizing the situation as a whole, instead of just sitting up there looking at everything linear. Like, oh, I'm the man, I provide, you do nothing, be a homemaker, take care of the kids. This is a different day and age, right? So, though the women are evolved, the men have to evolve better than the men that was even back there, right? From the past. This is what I mean by that. It's even harder to be a man, and it's even easier to be a woman. So how much further you have to even exceed the men from the past is going to ultimately put you in a position to live a better life than those men in the past. Why? Because now you got her for reasons outside of your resources. Reason being is that, okay, if your swag is up, your appearance is up, your mouthpiece is up, your game is up, your character is up, the real tangible stuff, not just the or intangible, and not the tangible stuff like, okay, I can provide, cool, whatever, right? The government can do that now. If you step your game up to that, then you're still going to be getting the same kind of woman of old, but now since she's a working woman, and you knew you would have been able to get this working woman regardless, to a certain extent, because you can't be a person that's just completely flat broke unless you're going after a certain kind of women. But just as long as you're sufficient and you're secure and you're stable and you're consistent, those skill sets, I feel like the woman now sits up there, and as much as she wants to be an independent baddie, can't no man tell me nothing. Not only gonna be able to do what you want to do with your money, you'll be able to steward and be able to tell her what she can do with her money. But you have to be an upper echelon, top tier individual that has the best of both worlds, meaning that you're a provider, but you also got the skill sets and attributes of a person that comes from a place where money isn't as accessible. You feel me? So you pretty much got the best of both worlds. But yeah, regarding the dark side of dating plenty of women, you just got to understand that with experience, it heightens your expectations, right? When you're ignorant, your expectations doesn't quantify, right? Meaning that if you don't know what's out there, then it makes it easier for you to be appreciative of what you have. Reason being, it's probably better to just be a thousandaire than to be a millionaire, than to downgrade to a thousandaire, because you've already been exposed to a lifestyle that you have no longer access to. So you might be willing to chase success in a different way, rather than the person that hasn't got there, just because you have less incentive to get to a place you've never been to before, right? To a certain extent. So with that being said, I'm just leave it right there. Y'all got thoughts, comments, leave them below. You feel me? Thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, on the channel. Feel me? Subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one.